Hey everybody, so today I thought that we could maybe color this cute La La Land Crafts image called Heart Key Marci. She's so adorable, and she comes with 2 sentiments in there, and she's already mounted for you, so all you have to do is trim her and she's ready to go. I have never ordered one of these before, so this will be the first time I've colored one of these, but I thought she would be super fun to color for Valentine's Day coming up. So I've already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. Okay, so I'm going to start by coloring her skin, and for her skin I'm going to use E11, E21, E000, E000. I'm going to shade it with BV20, and then for the cheeks I'm going to use E93. So I'm going to start down here on her feet. And she has on pants. So actually this part to here is pants. She's got little leggings, and then this is her foot. And I'm just going to make, she doesn't have any socks on. I'm going to make it skin tone. So I'm going to start with my E11. And I'm going to lay down my color here on the back sides of her legs and along the bottom of her foot here till I get to the bow. And then I'm going to come back on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to grab 21. And I'm going to touch down on top of my 11. I'm going to pull out just a little bit further with my 21. And I'm going to do the same thing with this side. And then we're going to go with E000. And brush right on top of my 11. And pull out. Same for this side. And then I'm going to fill in that little space there with my E000. And I'm going to go backwards towards my color because I don't want to color outside the lines. Okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go over, repeat the process again. So I'm going to go with E11. 21. I'm going just a little bit further than I went the first time with my 21. I'll add just a little bit more on this side too. And then E000. And again, I'm going past where I went the last time. And then I'm going to fill it in with E000. And then to add some more shadow contrast, I'm going to take BV20 and I'm just going to make a very small line right next to the stamped part. Just a little bit. And we're going to move up here to her arms. And again, I'm going to start with my E11. And we're going to start with a small amount down at the bottom of her arm. And then I'm going to do the underside of her fingers here just a little bit. And I think I'll come up just, this heart's kind of laying on her arm, so I'm going to go up just a little bit on that. And then for this arm, I'm going to start up here where her sleeve touches her arm. And I'm going to come clear down to the bottom. And then I'm also going to do the front side of her arm right here just a little bit and down towards this way. I'm going to give her elbow a little bit of a color right there. I think I'll also do that over here at her wrist just a little bit. Make it go up just a tad bit more so you got a little bit of line there. And then I'm going to grab E21 and laying on top of my E11, I'm just going to lightly brush a little bit more color going past my E11 just a little bit. Same thing for this side. we'll grab E000. Fill in a little bit more of that space. And then fill it in with E000. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with my feet. I'm going to just repeat the colors. So I'm going to go back with my E11. Add a tiny bit of that. I think I'll skip her fingers this time. Go down on this side. A little bit next to her dress. And then E21. Go just a little bit past where I had it the last time. Lightly flicking over that color I laid down. There, just a little bit there. And then E000. Go ahead and color that side all the way in. There's not too much space left there. I got a little crazy. And then I'm going to take my E000 or quadruple zero and just lightly go over this whole section here in the middle, like that. Okay, and then let's take our BV20, and I want to add a little bit of shadows. So I'm going to go just with the tip of my pen. I'm going to add it right next to the stamped black line right here where her elbow is. And then I'm going to do the back of her arm. And this is just something new I'm trying. I didn't do it before, but I've seen this skin color on somebody else's coloring, so I thought I would just do the whole, try the whole thing out and see how it worked out. So you'll have to be the judge of whether or not you like it. You might stamp her first on a scratch paper and try her out first. Okay, and then we're going to go with E11. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do her neck. So I'm going to go right underneath of her chin and next to that little heart. And then E21, and brush right over that. E000, and then E000. And again, I'll repeat the process. I think for me it just looks better if I've went over it twice. It doesn't look quite so patchy. And this isn't my usual skin tone that I usually pick. So she's a little bit darker colored skin tone than I'm normally used to. But it's fun to branch out every once in a while, so today's the day I'm trying something new. Okay, and then let's go up here and do her face. And again, I'm going to start with, oh, wait, I forgot my BV20. So let's do BV20 right underneath of her chin. Add a new color and you forget about it. Okay, and then we're going to do E11, and I'm going to outline her entire face. So I'm just going to start up here to her hairline and work my way around. We'll stop at the heart and start back up on this side and come down this side of her bangs. And let's see, we better do a little bit here in her ear. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my E21 and I want to add a little bit of color on top of that. So I'm going to brush on top of our E11 and pull out just a little bit. Then E000. Around her lip. And then I'm going to take my E000 and just fill this little space in right here. And I'm brushing on top of my E000 and pulling it towards the center. Whoops, and I forgot her ear over here. Okay, so yeah, that looks terrible. So we're going to go ahead and add another coat. So see, my coloring can look nasty too. So I'm going to start with my E11. Do exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to go right along the edge and add just another coat here. I think I'll actually, before I do the whole thing, I think I'll add her cheek color. So I'm going to grab E93, and I want her cheek to come right here. So I'm just going to brush some of that on, like that. And then we'll worry about prettying it up later, just so I know where her cheeks are going to be. Okay, so I've got my E11 again, and I'm going to brush it from the side of her face out here onto this cheek color a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing with this side. I'm going to come right away from the side of her face and pull it out here just a little bit. Oops, that was E21. That's okay. We'll go ahead and feather this line in here a little bit. I forgot I already did the E11 one. I got my markers set on the side here in order so I don't forget. Let's go up from the bottom here. Don't forget her ear. Okay, and then I'm going to go with my E000, and let's do her ears here before I forget that. And we're just going to brush down from our E21. And brush across her cheek. I'm going to brush up here on this cheek. And we need to work this area up here just a little bit more. And then I'm going to take my E000 and I'm going to fill in this space. But I'm also going to use it to come down here and brush up from the sides. And soften some of those lines just a little bit more. Okay, now I think I will add a little bit more cheek color. So I'm going to grab my E93 again, because her face is kind of tan. So I want to darken up those cheeks just a little bit. We'll see them a little bit better. Okay, and I think over here on this side, I'm going to take my E11, because her face kind of tips this way. Brush just a little bit on the side there. And I'm going to take 21 and brush over the top of that. I'll go up here just a little bit more. That line's kind of harsh still. And then we'll do E000. And I'm going to turn over this way so I can do this side. And again, I'm going to grab my E11. And I'm just going to put a little tiny dab on this side. And then then E21. Brush over that line. Again, I think I'll come up here and brush on this one again because it's still pretty harsh right there. Maybe a little bit down here on the bottom. And then E00. And E00. That one was E000, sorry. And this one's E00. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. So I'm going to go ahead and add her another coat of cheek color. So I've got E93. And then I'm going to take my BV20 and I'm going to give it a little bit of a shadow right next to her bangs. Whoops, I colored that bang. I'll take my colorless blender and get rid of that. Well, it's going to be a red, so I think that'll be fine. Okay, that looks pretty good, so let's go do her lips. Alright, so for lips, I'm going to use E04 and RV32. So I'm going to take my E04 and I'm going to give it a little dab on each side, like that. And then I'm going to fill in the middle with RV32. And I'm still touching down on my E04. So I'm going to darken them up. I'm going to give them a second coat. So go right back and add your E04. And then touch that middle part with your RV32. Alright, let's go do her hair next. And for her hair, I'm going to use E18, E09, E08, and E01. And I'm going to start up here at the top. I'm going to start with E18, and I'm going to do some, she's got this great little section right here that looks like it's all coming together and apart. So I'm going to start from right there, and I'm just going to flick down with my E18. And I'm going to do half. So I'm going to say right here in the middle here, I'm going to do that half. And then I'm going to come down here by her ear, and I'm going to flick away from her ear. Well, first I'm going to draw close to her ear so I can make sure not to color her ear. And then I'm just going to flick away from her ear, pulling that E18 up there. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit to each one of these cute little bangs she's got right here. But I'm going to try to go, I tip my paper so that I can go in the direction that her hair is growing, because it's got kind of a little curve right there. Alright, and then I'm going to grab E09, and I'm going to go up here at the top, and I lay down my E09 about halfway onto the E18. And then we're going to do the same thing from the bottom. And she's got quite a ways to go on this side, so I tend to brush this side up a little bit more than I would over here. And then I'm going to grab E08. And again, I'm laying down top of my last color. And then she's got quite a ways to go on this side, so I'm going to brush these down a little bit further. Same thing this side over here. I'm going to brush up just a little bit. And actually, I think I'll bring this one down just a little bit, this side a little bit more. So she's got a nice little halo there. Okay, and then we've got her bangs. And then I'm going to grab E01. And then I'm going to do this side. So I'm going to grab my E18 and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I want to come away from this cute little part she's got up here and brush some on here. And then I'm going to come up from her ear. So I'm going to get this little piece right here that's kind of tucked behind all the way. And then I always tend to do just a little line close to her ear so I don't color her ear. And then we're going to flick up. I think I'll add a little bit to this side. These bangs just a little bit. And then EO9. Bring this side just a little bit more. And then up from her ear. Pull that side just a little bit more. And then EO8. Up from her ear. And then EO1. And you can leave some white space in there if you want, or fill it all the way in. Now I'm going to go back with my E18 and add some streaks. So I'm going to start up here at the top again, and I'm going to hold my pen straight up and down, and I just flick down, and I usually flick way farther than, she's got quite a bit of space here, so I'm going to flick way further than I flicked the first time with my E18. I'm going to bring it down here into some of my color. And then I'm going to come up, and I'm actually going to turn it around so I can flick it just a little bit easier. I'm going to flick from away from her ear. And I'm still, her head kind of curves around, so I'm trying to flick in the direction that her hair is going to grow. So her head curves. And as long as I got it turned here, I think I'll do this side. And we'll go down. That. And then depending on how I like how the streaks are looking, I may go with the second color, which is EO9, and add just a few more, because I have quite a bit of white there still. So I want to, that's not the way I like it, so I'm going to add a little bit more of my color and bring it down here and fill in just a little bit of that space. And that's just my personal preference. If you like it to have a lot of white in there, that's great. That's just how you like it. Okay, and I think I'll flick a couple up here from the bottom. Okay, that's better. I like how that looks a lot better. Okay, then we're going to go down here and we are going to tackle these curls that she has down at the bottom. These are great. I love those. So I'm going to start with my E18 and I'm going to say, let's start with this back curl right here. So she's got this little back curl, so I'm going to get right next to her face just a little bit, and then a little bit where her curl is touching, where this section kind of looks like it curls over the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on this side and a little bit next to this heart, because it's going to make it look like it goes backwards. And this part's humped up. So again, this is the back part of the curl, so I'm going to get both sides of that. And then here's where it humps up, so I'm going to get this side. And then this is space, so here's the back of the curl. And then we come back out here where we have the front of the curl. Okay? And then I'm going to, I would usually just do all the curls, but we're going to switch to EO9 just so you can kind of see. And I'm going to fill in this section, and then we're going to give this, each side of this one a little bit. And fill in this one just a little bit. And there's not much space there, so you want to use just the end of your tip of your pen. Like that. And then we're going to grab 8. I'm going to fill in this back section just a little bit. And see, even I ran out of some space. And then I'm going to fill that in with E01. Give it a little shiny area there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my E18 again. I'm going to go up here, and this is the top part of the curl, but I'm just going to color that all the way in because it's right next to your ear. So then we got a back of the curl, and the front of the curl, and then we got the back of the curl, front, back, or that's the front, but this is the back. And then over here we're going to have the front of the curl, and then it curls under right here. This looks like the back of the curl, so we're going to go ahead and do that one. And here it's coming back to the front, and the back, and the front, and the back, and then she's got this little section right here that's poking out. And then we're going to grab E09, and you really have to just look at each curl as you're coloring it, and just kind of pay attention to what you're coloring, or you're going to be coloring something that the sky or the background there. It also helps me to, the stamp company, they have, fighting off a cough there, sorry. They have their pictures colored, so that is great for when you're coloring your picture, to look at how they colored it, to see how the curls look. So now we've got E08. And just some more colors in here. These pretty curls. And then I'm going to take my E01 and color those in. And because it's wet too, it helps that it spreads that color to the next color. Blends real nice. Go over there, soften those lines just a little bit more. See how cute those curls look? Aren't those adorable? Okay, let's go do this side. So we've got E18. So, let's see. So we've got the top of a curl right here. Actually, there's a little curl right here too. And this one goes to the back. Top, back, top, back. This is the top, back, top, back. And that one's just a stray piece. We'll just color that right in. And here we have the top, the back, top, the back, top, back, top, back, top. And this one looks like it kind of, this is air right here. See what I mean? You got to really look at it to see where it goes. Then we're going to go with E09 and just add a little bit more color. So I'm just going to touch down on top of all of my E18s. Fill this little section right there all the way in. I'm going to grab EO8. Add a little bit more colors on there. And then fill it in with EO1. Brush over all those little spaces. Them a nice little shiny highlight on the top of the little curls here. Oh, she's cute. So next, let's jump down here and do her shoes. And for that, I'm going to use W6, W4, and W3. And I start with W6. And I'm going to take just the tip of my marker and I'm going to run it right along the sole of her shoe over here to the front. Same for this side. And then I'm going to grab W4. And I'm going to go right over the top of that W6. I'm going to pull up just a tad. I'm going to leave a little space for my W3. And then we're going to fill it in with our W3. I'm also going to go ahead and color the soles of her shoes. Alright, so let's go work on some of her dress. And for that, we're going to use RO2, RO1, and R00. And I'm actually going to start down here since I'm on her shoe. I'm going to start with my RO2. And I'm going to add just a little bit of my RO2 to each of these little bows. And just a little bit here on the sides. And then I'm going to grab a 1. And lightly go over that edge. And then I'm going to fill it in, get a little closer there so you can see it, with R00. And then we're going to go do her pants. And for her pants, I'm going to start with RO2. And I'm going to go ahead and do just along the back and underneath of her skirt. Then I'm going to grab my O1 and brush over that edge. Lightly flick over it down here into my white, softening that up that line. And then I'm going to take my R00 to fill it in. I think that I'll go up here now and do her hair bow. So for that, I'm going to give it a little bit right here by her head, and then where it curves under, do it a little bit on this side, and then the inside of her bow here like this. Then I'm going to grab R01 and go over my line. This line, leave a little bit of space for my R00 there. And then we'll fill it in with R00. I think I'll go back and add just a little bit more of my R02. A little bit over here on this side. I'm going to soften that line with my R01. There, I like that better. I'm going to go do this side. So I start with my R02. I'm going to brush the inside of my bow and the back side of this curve. And we want to do right next to her hair. There. And then we got R01. And then R00 to fill it in. And again, like the other side, I'm going to go back and do it a second time. So I've got my R02. And the R01. Soften that line. That looks pretty cute. Whoops. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to leave that. And let's go down here and do her dress. I love those pleats. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing this upper part of her dress first. So I'm going to grab my R02. And I'm going to brush away from that heart out here towards the center of her dress. I'm going to try not to color her arm. And then I'm going to grab R01. And then R00. And then R02. R01. And then R00. And then for these cute little pleats down here, I'm going to grab my R02. And I'm going to start by doing the side. So I'm going to pull away from the side of my dress out here just a little bit into the middle. Same for this side. And then for each of these great little pleats she's got, like this little pleat right here, I'm going to put a little bit on that side of her thing, but I'm going to make the pleat come up here towards her finger a little bit more. And same for this one, we're going to make a nice little line on each one of these cute little pleats. Okay. And I'm going to grab R01. And I'm going to soften that line. Just going to go right over the side. Right over each of these cute little pleats. Only when I get to the top, I'm going to go up just a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to take my R00 and I'm going to fill that in. And I'm not worried, as you've noticed, I guess, probably, I've done each one of my colors twice. So I'm not too worried about it being blended at this point. I just want to get down some color and then I come back and add another coat. Okay, so I'm going to grab RO2 and come back and lay down some more color. Each of these cute little pleats. I love this dress. It's really cute. And then RO1. Soften that little line. And then we'll fill it in with R00. Just brush right across that dress. And move to the side, we'll brush this way. And then you can see that she's got some pleats there. And I'm actually going to take my RO2 and I'm just going to make a small line right here by each of these little lines and darken it up, and I'm going to leave it like that. So now let's go to this cute key, and for that I'm going to use E44, E43, E42, and E40. I'm going to start with E43. And I'm going to put down some color where I want it to be darkest. So I want it to be darkest right here where it comes out of closest to her hand. Maybe a little bit extra on the bottom. Same for the bottom of the stick or the key. Come right up here just a little bit. I'm going to do the bottom of this little prong on the key. And for each of these little prongs. Oops, and this little right heart right here, I should have colored the color of the dress since you can see through the dress right there. So I'm going to grab RO1 and I'm just going to fill that in. I forgot about that. And then back to my E44. I'm going to put a little bit of that down. And then we want to get where it comes out of this side closest to her hand. And then it's got this little whoop-de-doo right here. So I'm going to give it a little bit like this. So it looks like it's going indenting in right there just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to grab 43. And I'm going to fill this little section in right here in the middle, because there's hardly any left. And then we're going to brush on top of each of these colors. Each little section we got going on here. That. I'll add a little bit up here onto this. And I want it to kind of flow around here, so I'm going to take my pen and go up like that. And then we're going to go over this cute little indent we have and bring that around just a little bit like that. And then I'm going to do 42. Add some down here at the bottom. And then we'll go up here at the top. A little bit more around here. And bring that line around. Connect with this line. And then we're going to fill it the rest of the way in with our E40. Going over some of those little lines and giving them another brush there. And we'll go up here and go around the key. Evidently someone's walking by the front window downstairs as the dog is freaking out. And fill that in just like that. Alright, so let's do the accent on her dress and her socks, or her pants. I guess it's her pants. And I'm going to use W1, W0, and W00. And I'm going to start with her socks. So I'm going to take my W1, and I'm going to do the edges of each side. And I forgot we're going to also use the colorless blender, so I better get that out. And then W0. Very lightly pull off that line. And then W00. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and go from this white and just kind of push back just a little bit. Okay. And we'll go up here and we'll do her sleeve, or her little top to her dress here. So we've got W1 up here on her shoulder, and then let's get each side to this little bodice piece. And we're going to do W0. W00. And then my colorless blender, I'm again take from the bottom of her sleeve and push up. And then right here in this little white space, I'm going to push a little bit this way and a little bit that way. And we're going to go down here and do these little cute little pleats. So again, W1. And so I'm going to add just a little bit of W1 to each side of these pleats. So I'm going to do that way and this way. So we got to do, so it looks like they're wrapping into the fold. And then W0. And W00. And then again, I'm going to take my colorless blender, and right in the middle of each one, I'm just going to push both ways. And that just kind of pushes the color away from that little center part and makes it stand out a little bit more. So we've got the inside of this heart right here. So for that, I'm going to use RV 95, 93, and 91. I'm going to start with my 95. And I want it to be dark right along here and kind of curve up like that. Like so. Then I'm going to take my 93. And we're going to brush right over the edge. Bring that side down a little bit more. Same with this side. And then we're going to fill it in with our 91. And then, like most everything else I've done so far, I'm going to redo it. So I'm going to go back with my 95. Just darken it up just a little bit more. 93. And my 91. So now let's go do this cute key. And for that I'm going to use E44, E43, E42, and E40. I'm going to start with E43. And I'm going to put down some color where I want it to be darkest. So I want it to be darkest right here where it comes out of closest to her hand. Maybe a little bit extra on the bottom. Same for the bottom of the stick or the key. Come right up here just a little bit. I'm going to do the bottom of this little prong on the key. And for each of these little prongs. oops, in this little right heart right here. I should have colored the color of the dress since you can see through the dress right there. So I'm going to grab R01 and I'm just going to fill that in. I forgot about that. And then back to my E44. I'm going to put a little bit of that down. And we want to get where it comes out of this side closest to her hand. And then it kind of, it's got this little whoop-de-doo right here. So I'm going to give it a little bit like this. So it looks like it's going indenting in right there just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to grab 43. And I'm going to fill this little section in right here in the middle, because there's hardly any left. And then we're going to brush on top of each of these colors. Each little section we got going on here. That. I'll add a little bit up here onto this. And I want it to kind of flow around here, so I'm going to take my pen and go up like that. And then we're going to go over this cute little indent we have and bring that around just a little bit like that. And then I'm going to do 42. Add some down here at the bottom. And then we'll go up here at the top. A little bit more around here. And bring that line around. Connect with this line. And then we're going to fill it the rest of the way in with our E40. Going over some of those little lines and giving them another brush there. And we'll go up here and go around the key. Evidently someone's walking by the front window downstairs as the dog is freaking out. And fill that in just like that. Okay, so now let's go down here and give her something to stand on. So I'm going to use W1, W0, and W00. And I'm going to start by taking my W1 and I'm going to draw a little line away from her shoe, just out like this. And then I'm going to kind of try to keep it sort of even. And I'm going to go over here onto this side so that it looks like there's something for her to stand on here. Gives her kind of a little wall there. Okay, I'm still taking my W1 and I'm going to lightly flick away from her shoes. And I'm just going to fill in between her shoe there. She'd be cast in a shadow where she's standing. Like that. And then I'm going to take W0 and I'm going to go right along that little line. Out this side. And along the bottom. And then we're going to do W00. I'm going to go right along like that. And then I'm going to take W1 and I'm going to add a little bit more dark here where she's standing a little bit. And you will not have that much room when you color yours because she's cut out on an oval. I just never bothered cutting mine out yet, so. Okay, I'm liking how that looks. And then I'm going to take my C0 pen and I'm going to outline her. So I just take my C0 and I go completely around my girl. and when it dries, you'll hardly see it, but it just kind of makes her look like she's not just sitting right there on the paper. It kind of gives her a little bit of a pop-up. And then I also colored in between each of these little spaces where her hair, you can see the background. Okay, I'll go all the way around up here. I'm going to go back down on this side. Get the inside this little spaces down here where her hair isn't touching anything. And clear around. Back over to this side like that. That is Heart Key Marci. Isn't she cute? So we've got the inside of this heart right here. So for that I'm going to use RV 95, 93, and 91. I'm going to start with my 95. And I want it to be dark right along here and kind of curve up like that. Like so. Then I'm going to take my 93. And we're going to brush right over the edge. Bring that side down a little bit more. Same with this side. And then we're going to fill it in with our 91. And then, like most everything else I've done so far, I'm going to redo it. So I'm going to go back with my 95. Just darken it up just a little bit more. 93. And my 91. Okay, so now let's go down here and give her something to stand on. So I'm going to use W1, W0, and W00. And I'm going to start by taking my W1 and I'm going to draw a little line away from her shoe, just out like this. And then I'm going to kind of try to keep it sort of even. And I'm going to go over here onto this side so that it looks like there's something for her to stand on here. Gives her kind of a little wall there. Okay, I'm still taking my W1 and I'm going to lightly flick away from her shoes. And I'm just going to fill in between her shoe there. She'd be cast in a shadow where she's standing. Like that. And then I'm going to take W0. And I'm going to go right along that little line. Out this side. And along the bottom. And then we're going to do W00. I'm going to go right along like that. And then I'm going to take W1 and I'm going to add a little bit more dark here where she's standing a little bit. And you will not have that much room when you color yours because she's cut out on an oval. I just never bothered cutting mine out yet, so. Okay, I'm liking how that looks. And then I'm going to take my C0 pen and I'm going to outline her. So I just take my C0 and I go completely around my girl. And when it dries, you'll hardly see it. But it just kind of makes her look like she's not just sitting right there on the paper. It kind of gives her a little bit of a pop-up. And then I also colored in between each of these little spaces where her hair, you can see the background. Okay, I'll go all the way around here. We're going to go back down on this side. Get the inside this little spaces down here where her hair isn't touching anything. And clear around. Back over to this side like that. That is Hardkey Marci. Isn't she cute? So this is what the card will look like when you're all finished. And there's our little Marci all colored up. And see what I mean about the background down here? There's not hardly any showing after you get her all cut out. But she's got this great little bow, and this card will fit into a 6x6 envelope. But this time I used my Grand Caliber Grand Nestabilities to cut out this little, the base card. And it's so cute. And I've seen a tutorial, and I'm like, oh, I got to try that. But there is two parts. So you're going to have the front of the card, and then you're going to have the back. And you'll be able to see a little bit of the fold up here at the top, but the front's going to cover all that up. So that is our card today. Thanks for joining me. I hope you had a good time, and we'll see you next time. Bye.